Alright, hello guys. In this video we'll be learning about the basics of Python. So let's get started with Python. The very first thing you need to know is what are variables and what are values. Let us suppose we are giving x equals to 5. In this case we are assigning the value 5 to the variable x. So here 5 is the value and x is a variable. For example, let's take car equals to fence. Here we are writing bunch of characters in between quotation marks. Now what are these? These are called as strings. So what are strings? Strings are basically characters which are written either in single quotation mark or double quotation mark. You can write this as well like in double quotation marks. Alright, that doesn't make any difference. So strings are characters which are in single or double quotation marks. Now we are writing y equals to 1.5. Now here the value is 1.5 and we are assigning that value to a variable y. So here we have variable as y and the value as 1.5 and string as pence. So let us print this. So now what is this print? Print is a function. So now let us know what is a function. Function is a block of code or certain operation which is performed when we call it. So basically what does this print function does? This print function prints the value of the variable which we provide. For example, we are providing x over here, and just to remember, a function always ends with parentheses, guys. So we need to provide we need to provide the value variable which we need to print in between those parentheses, and that is called as argument. So basically we are providing x as an argument for the function print. So let us see what we get. When we run this, we get the value as 5 because we have already assigned the value 5 here. So let us take car here. Now we get the output as Benz because we have assigned it to Benz here. So when we make y here, so we get the value as 1.5. Alright. So this was about the variables, values and the print function. Now let us know there are certain rules when you are naming a variable. You can name the variable almost anything you want. It can be hello equals to 1. So it can be anything, but there are certain rules while naming a variable. Let us have a look over that. The very first thing is variables are case sensitive. What does that mean? So we have named hello equals to 1. Now let me print. Now that will give us an error. Why? Because we have provided here with capital H and here we have small h. So instead of that, if you give small h, we'll get the answer as 1. So what does this mean? This means that hello in lowercase is not equals to capital H E L L O. So basically these two are different things. So that is what variables are case sensitive. You need to remember that, or else you'll get errors. Now the second rule is that variables cannot start with a number. So variables, they cannot start with a numerical value. For example, if you write 1 hello over here and let us print that will give us an error. Yes. So this is the rule. We cannot start a variable name with a numerical value. We can start it with underscore. That doesn't make any difference. I mean, that doesn't give us any error. Alright, see, we don't get any error. And the third point is variables should contain A to Z or 0 to 9 or underscore. So the name of the variable should contain either A to Z, uppercase or lowercase, that doesn't matter, or 0 to 9 or an underscore, or the combination of these. The variable should not contain any other things such as like hash at the rate over here. So let me print this. That will give us error. So these are three rules for the variables you need to remember while naming them. Alright, we are clear with variables, values, and strings. So now have a look at what are integers. Integers in Python are denoted by int. So basically what are integers? Integers are whole numbers. Let us suppose 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. These all are called as integers, whereas floats are integers with a decimal point. For example, we have 1.1, 25.4 and 36.001, and any integer with a decimal point is known as floats. So these are integers and floats, need to remember. And next we have this hash symbol. So you have probably seen I'm using this hash symbol. That is so because if in between the code, if you need to write comment out or describe any particular line or block of code, we use hash symbol and write it. This is a basic tutorial. So anything you need to describe in the comment in a block of code, then use hash for that. Alright guys, so you know what does the print function does. So there are many different functions, inbuilt functions in Python. So let us have a look at one of such type function. The type function takes an argument. For example, let me just write over here x equals to 4, y equals to 4.5 and z equals to color. Okay, so this type function shows us which class the value of the variable belongs to. For example, if I'm providing the argument as x, let me print this out. So we get int because just now we have learned what are integers. Integers are whole numbers. So and they are denoted by int. So we are getting what this value. This value belongs to which class. So we are getting the output as that. So it belongs to an integer class. So that's what the print the type function is saying us. Now let me write here y. We get float because we have decimal point over here. So we are getting float as an output. Now when I print z over here, I get string as an output. Class string. str represents string. So we are clear with the type function as well. So this type function we'll be using in mostly debugging. So I'll be explaining it in later tutorials. But now just stick with this. Now we have booleans. So what are booleans? Booleans are the only logical operators of the Python. It is either true or false. Remember guys, Python is case sensitive, so If you write lowercase t over here, the Python doesn't recognize it, so make sure you write capital T and capital F over there. So what does this mean? So true or false operations tell us if the given statement is true or false. For example, if we are writing x equals to 4 over here and we are comparing print x equals to 4, I'm writing double equals to over here. In a moment I'll be explaining it, guys, just wait. So we are getting an output as true. And if I write x equals to 3 here, we get an output as false. So what is this double equals to? When we are comparing it, we will be using double equals to symbol. If I'm comparing it x equals to 3, then I'll be using double equals to. If I'm assigning the value, for example, x equals to 3, then I'm assigning this value to the variable x. When I'm comparing, I'll be using double equals to. So let us compare. If x equals to 3, we'll get the output as true. If I change the value over here, x equals to 1, we get the value as false. Right, so let us write the very first program, that is print hello world. So let me write x equals to hello world. Now print x. And we get an output as hello world. Now this is our first program, guys. So instead of naming a variable as hello world and printing that variable, I could just cut this out and paste it directly over here, and that will give me the same result. We can either do that way or this way. Both are perfectly fine. So we have completed with our first program. Alright, thank you very much, guys. That's all for this video. In next video we'll be continuing it.